The Battle of Dien Bien Phu, 1954, a pivotal turning point in the First Indochina War. Introduction. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu, fought between March and May 1954, stands as one of the most significant engagements of the First Indochina War. This protracted conflict between the French Union and the Viet Minh, led by Ho Chi Minh, marked a critical chapter in the struggle for Vietnamese independence. Dien Bien Phu, a remote valley in the northwest of Vietnam, witnessed a fierce confrontation that ultimately resulted in the downfall of the French forces, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of Southeast Asia and paving the way for the establishment of North Vietnam. Background. To understand the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, it is essential to delve into the broader context of the First Indochina War. Emerging from the post-World War II era, Vietnam found itself at the center of geopolitical tensions, with the French seeking to reassert control over their former colony and the Viet Minh advocating for independence. The Geneva Accords of 1954, which aimed to bring an end to the conflict, partitioned Vietnam along the 17th parallel, establishing North Vietnam under the control of the Communists and South Vietnam as a non-communist entity. The French, however, sought to consolidate their position in the region and strategically selected Dien Bien Phu as a base to block the Viet Minh's movement along the Laotian border. This decision, influenced by a flawed assessment of the terrain and underestimation of Viet Minh capabilities, would prove to be a pivotal factor in the unfolding of the battle. Strategic importance of Dien Bien Phu. Dien Bien Phu, located in the remote mountains of northwest Vietnam, was considered a strategic outpost by the French. Surrounded by hills and lush jungles, the valley offered a natural defense position. The French believed that by establishing a fortified stronghold at Dien Bien Phu, they could disrupt Viet Minh supply lines and exert control over the region. However, this strategy would later be exposed as a miscalculation, leading to a prolonged and grueling conflict. The French deployment. In November 1953, the French began their deployment to Dien Bien Phu, led by Colonel Christian de Castries. The French forces consisted of elite paratroopers, foreign legionnaires, and Vietnamese troops, totaling around 16,000 men. The French established a series of strong points within the valley, including strongholds named Isabelle, Anne-Marie, Beatrice, and Gabrielle. The Viet Minh preparation. On the opposing side, General Vo Nguyen Giap, the mastermind behind the Viet Minh's military strategy, recognized the significance of Dien Bien Phu. Giap meticulously planned and executed an elaborate strategy, moving troops and artillery through the difficult terrain to encircle the French positions. Despite facing challenges such as limited resources and challenging logistics, Giap's meticulous planning would prove decisive in the ultimate outcome of the battle. The siege begins. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu began in earnest in March 1954 when the Viet Minh launched a series of attacks on the French positions. The rugged terrain made it difficult for the French to receive reinforcements or evacuate their wounded. The Viet Minh's guerrilla tactics, coupled with their ability to construct an intricate network of trenches and tunnels, posed a formidable challenge to the French forces. The French were surrounded and subjected to intense artillery bombardment. The Viet Minh utilized Soviet-supplied artillery, including heavy artillery pieces and anti-aircraft guns, to devastating effect. The French air superiority, which had been a crucial advantage until then, was nullified by the dense anti-aircraft fire. Life in the trenches. Life in the French trenches at Dien Bien Phu was marked by harsh conditions, constant shelling, and an acute shortage of essential supplies. The Viet Minh's relentless assaults tested the endurance and morale of the French forces. Despite these challenges, the French soldiers displayed remarkable resilience, fighting tenaciously against overwhelming odds. International response. As news of the intensifying conflict reached the international community, concern grew over the fate of the French forces in Dien Bien Phu. The United States, wary of the spread of communism, considered providing military assistance to the French. However, as the situation deteriorated, and with the realization that the French were facing an unwinnable battle, the international sentiment shifted towards a negotiated settlement. The Geneva Conference. Against the backdrop of the escalating conflict, diplomatic efforts were underway at the Geneva Conference to find a resolution to the First Indochina War. The United States, the Soviet Union, China, France, and the United Kingdom participated in the conference. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu, unfolding in real time, exerted considerable pressure on the negotiators. The fall of Dien Bien Phu. By late April 1954, the French position in Dien Bien Phu had become untenable. The strongholds were crumbling under the relentless Viet Minh assaults, and the French were running out of supplies. The situation reached a breaking point on May 7, 1954, when the Viet Minh overran the French stronghold at Isabelle. The remaining French positions quickly fell, leading to a decisive victory for the Viet Minh. The aftermath. The fall of Dien Bien Phu had far-reaching consequences. The French government, recognizing the futility of continuing the war, began negotiations that culminated in the signing of the Geneva Accords on July 21, 1954. The Accords marked the end of the First Indochina War, with Vietnam divided along the 17th parallel. The French withdrew from North Vietnam, allowing the Viet Minh to establish the Democratic Republic of Vietnam with Hanoi as its capital. Legacy and impact. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu left an indelible mark on the history of Vietnam and the broader geopolitical landscape of the Cold War era. The defeat dealt a severe blow to French colonial ambitions in Southeast Asia and signaled the waning influence of European powers in the region. For the Vietnamese, Dien Bien Phu became a symbol of resistance and a source of inspiration in their quest for independence. The battle's impact extended beyond Vietnam, influencing the trajectory of the Cold War. The Geneva Accords set the stage for the further involvement of the United States in the region, eventually leading to the Vietnam War. Dien Bien Phu demonstrated the effectiveness of guerrilla warfare against a technologically superior foe, inspiring other anti-colonial movements around the world. Conclusion. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu stands as a watershed moment in the history of Vietnam and the First Indochina War. The valiant struggle of the Viet Minh against overwhelming odds, the resilience of the French forces, and the geopolitical ramifications of the conflict all contribute to the significance of Dien Bien Phu. The battle serves as a testament to the complexities of modern warfare, the enduring spirit of those who fought, and the profound impact of historical events on the course of nations.